Hey Jake, how are you?
Yeah,
Good to
good
see
mate.
you, and congratulations on the half marathon in Hawke's Bay. You did well there, but there's a few things we can do better as we build towards your future goals.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Um, First thing, how did it go in an overall summary from your perspective?
Overall, like when you really look at the nuts and bolts of it, the training, the build-up training to it was 8 weeks. So for me to achieve what I achieved in 8 weeks training, um, pretty good effort to be fair. I
Absolutely.
like to be fair, I wanted to crack 2 hours, but then when you really actually um, look at the amount of training volume that I've done in the 8 weeks, um, if I pushed any harder, I would have hurt myself trying to achieve that 2 hour mark.
And we had the
But
calf and Achilles that were not necessarily playing 100% of the game 100% of the time.
yeah, 100%. And having come out of injuries and everything like that, and trying to manage um, the recovery of those injuries to make sure that I was still able to run and build up train for it and stuff like that. So yeah, is yeah, a good training period.
Yeah, it was. I fully agree with that. And running half marathons develops experience. The more often you run half marathons, the more experience you develop, the better you get at pacing them and pace judgment and everything along those lines. You've come from a predominantly swimming background and moving into the running and triathlon world. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later on offline.
Yep.
So, overall, how did your training go in the lead up to the race? I know you've already touched on that, but what worked well?
Um, oh, the training was awesome. I felt it was like the structure of it was a really good, easy structure for a work-life balance. As in during the Monday to Friday, able to do the smaller sessions like up to a maximum of an hour sort of thing, which varied from whatever they were doing and stuff like that. And then on the weekend, predominantly on the Sundays, going out for those longer runs to try and tick up a bit of mileage and stuff like that. So for me, that sort of schedule worked really well with work life balance, making sure that I was still at home doing dad duties and doing what is required for family life and stuff like that. So the that that training block really allowed a real good balance here.
Nice. What would you do differently next time? Now, 8 weeks is a very limited build up, and we've got future goals that we're building towards, and this was a stepping stone towards that.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, what would you do differently?
Start earlier. Like, yeah, absolute 8 weeks is a very short window. To, oh, you know, to come out the other side of the half marathon better, I just feel a longer training block period. Um, just so that you can, when you go for those long runs, that you are actually doing a substantial long run. Like my biggest build up run was 12 or 13 Ks sort of thing. So then on race day, you're doing another 10 Ks on top of that you haven't actually done in a training environment. Um, so just having the opportunity to actually run those distances in a training period would help
A-
dramatically.
Absolutely. And we don't want to increase your training load too much every single week so that you've ran that 21 Ks prior to event day. If
No,
the build up is long enough, we
yeah,
can build up to that. And that's in the ultimate world what we're trying to achieve.
yeah,
With 8 weeks, we're pushing it a little bit each week and knowing that we're stepping up, a big step up for the half, but then a big step down again afterwards so you can recover from that and then continue towards your future goals.
yes, absolutely.
How was your nutrition and hydration in the days leading up to the event?
Oh, nutrition and hydration. To be honest, I got smacked with a cold starting Wednesday before the half marathon. Um, so that made it more challenging, knowing that with a cold you're gonna be straight away you're gonna be dehydrated, or you're not gonna be feeling that you're gonna want to eat and stuff like that. So having that in the back of my mind, knowing that hey, I'm gonna have to drink even more than I normally do, like twice as much what I normally do to fight a cold, and then to ensure that I'm hydrated enough for the half marathon and stuff like that. That was a little bit of a challenge, but uh, we got there in the end. Nutrition wise, I think it was all good. Like, to be fair, I was probably just eating what I normally eat, but I eat pretty healthy, to be fair. But I was making sure I was trying to hit, protein targets and all that sort of stuff to make sure that I had enough um, protein in the body to help recovery, and then enough carbohydrates to fuel the body and stuff like that. And I think the Friday before the half marathon, I had like 2 servings of sushi or something like that to make sure that I was eating enough carbohydrates and stuff like that. But yeah, I think build up to the half, I think my nutrition was okay for what it was.
Yep. Nice. What about sleep and how did you manage stress in the lead up to the event? Obviously, the cold is a spanner in the works there.
Sleep and sleep. I just, yeah, I'm pretty good. If I'm tired, I will just sleep, and then I'll sleep. I think the day of the run was a bit of a terrible sleep. That would just came down to nerves of the race, and then excitement and all that, all the other stuff. Get a bit of a disrupted sleep, especially when you set your alarm, you don't want to miss your alarm, so you have a bit of a broken sleep because it feels like every 5 minutes you're checking your alarm to make sure you're not going to miss your alarm.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
And that's very normal the night before an event
yeah,
to have that disrupted sleep due to the anxiety, the stress, the excitement. There's so many factors coming into play there.
yeah, yeah. So other than that, sleep was no issue really.
Nice. Your race plan, pacing strategy, what did you employ there?
Oh, so my goal was I wanted to, if I could run around the 6 minute 20, 6 minute 30, I would have been happy. That was, this is all pre-race. So what I'd gone through and done, like my analysis of what I was trying to achieve and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was planning around the 6 minute 20, 6 minute 30 pace. That didn't happen on race day though.
No. Now might be, we'll talk about the goal, the race strategy a little bit more, and then we might,
Yeah,
I'll um, switch screens and have a look at how the race unfolded for you and how
cool.
some of the things can be managed for future for better.
Yeah.
Um, actually, let's just do it now. It's come up. Let's jump in here. So we've got, well, there's the race course there.
Yeah.
But these opening kilometers, first three were sub 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a shock to the system, I think. If we scroll down and have a look at your level two pace zone, typically between 6:16 and 6:57. And so your target of 6:20 to 6:30, perfect. But unleashing these three monsters at the start
Mm,
led straight into you had a brief walking break. Was that through an aid station, was it?
yeah, so my strategy was every single aid station stop, walk through the aid station to drink and to get some glucose into me because I
Yep.
knew um that was it was just to try and save me. Like this was one of my strategies just to try and mitigate um going too hard too fast was just to stop and walk and hit an aid station and stuff like that. That first one, I missed the toilet lines. And so I had to do a toilet stop, and that's why that's a massive drop on that first one because I had to go use the bathroom on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, after that toilet stop,
yeah,
back settling into that rhythm, 601, 607. So all around, well, still faster than level two.
yeah, yeah.
Then,
Absolute, way too
then
fast.
you settled into rhythm beautifully for a few kilometers.
Yeah,
And then I just clicked on that. I didn't mean to click on the whole thing. Actually, it's easier if I go out and then back in. Why is that not opening now? It's just some reason that's not working. Yeah, so the rhythm, you settled back into that rhythm nicely. But I think the energy expenditure by going above that level two pace early had an influence on your energy availability later on, compounded by the
yes,
fact that we'd had a limited build up with the transition um, from swimming only into, or we built into the running for a little bit, and then some injuries turned up,
yep.
and then the targeted build up for the. All right, so that should be working now. Can you see that
Yep.
again?
Yep.
Yeah. So the from we started getting a few more frequent walks in there, and that's not
Yep.
run walks, not a drama at all. Using that strategy to complete a half marathon or a full marathon or any endurance event, especially when it's a big step from where your current ability is
Yep.
a perfect strategy. The goal of completing the event was achieved at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
and the utilizing that strategy to do so was effective.
Yep.
You can see some of them low 8 minutes, high 7 minutes, and they progressively get a little bit slower and slower and slower. And then towards the end, you can get a sniff of that finish line and picking up the pace. You can see the height of the pace
Yeah.
at the end there, 6:05 as you ran towards the finish line. So that worked well. Your heart rate rose quickly because of the increased pace at the start.
Yep.
But like I said, you settled into that good rhythm. And it's kind of hard to see where the different K markers are, but
Mm.
in terms of the four from the fourth K, or sorry, yeah, the fourth end of the fourth K through to the 10th K, nice and consistent, holding that pace sort of. There's a step down a little bit in pace from the 7th K,
Yep.
and then you settled into that rhythm. The walking came in a little bit more frequently, and you can see the pace in these kilometers is a bit slower, but the when you look at the pace, it's slowly progressing down and down. And then about this pace through here, you held that 7 minute pace when running there or thereabouts the whole way through the end,
Yep.
with a little bit of a pick up towards the very finish. So that worked well.
Yep.
In future, your durability, your ability to sustain a pace will be enhanced because you've had that larger training volume that we've already sort of touched on.
Yep.
Also, from experience, you'll know not to push out these sub 6 minute paces. And if you look at your watch and see the paces sub 6 minutes, you'll know to back off just that little bit more to settle into that six well, 6:20, 6:30 goal would have
Yep.
worked fine. But as long as it's sort of around that 6:16 to 6:57, we can slow it right down, and that would make things a lot more sustainable
Mm.
over the longer duration for you.
Yep.
Treating this as a long run that is a bit longer than normal is a great way to get that success.
Yep.
In the future, at the end of a half Ironman distance event, the half marathon is a different kettle of fish, and we'll talk about that closer to that event for you.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's enough of a summary for now. If we go back, um, we know how well you stuck to the plan. What were the unexpected challenges out on the course, and how did you handle them?
Challenges. So, to be fair, the first challenge was crossing what bridge is it? Tutaikuri Bridge. It's a,
Yep,
it's suspended, and so when you run, the whole bridge wobbles with you.
yep,
And so when you've got like 100 people running on this bridge, this it's like an earthquake. You're bouncing up and down
yep.
on this, and that was horrible. I hated that. That was probably the part of the whole run I absolutely hated. And the only way I could get through that was one foot in front of the other and just get off that bridge as fast as I could.
So suspension bridges are a unique challenge. I hate
Yeah,
running on them. I might get a couple of strides. The first stride, if you're the only person on the bridge, can provide an extra spring.
yeah,
And then the rest of it comes down to pure chance of timing as to
yes,
whether you catch that bridge on an upswing or a
yeah,
downswing, as
yeah,
to whether it adds spring into your step or takes it away.
yeah,
I'll typically walk after a couple of strides,
yeah,
and yeah, like you say, get across it quickly.
yeah.
So, what else popped up for you?
The environmental conditions. It was really cold that day of the race day. Like really, really, really cold. Um, like like that cold. You're like even contemplating, geez, do I need to run with a jersey because it was cold? But it was just what I started warming up half an hour before the run because it was that cold to make sure I was warm enough to even start running. So they're just environmental factors. Just was a little bit not normal Hawke's Bay weather.
Yeah,
Um, so they, yeah, that made it a little bit challenging, but it is what it is sometimes. Nothing else really made it challenging other than those.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel during the event? What were your energy levels like? Any muscular fatigue, cramps?
Oh, after the 10K mark, I struggled. Like it was, I got to the 10K mark and I was like, geez, I've got to do this all over again now. Um, and so then that just really became a mental game of just keep going and
Yep.
just one foot in front of the other, just keep doing your thing and stuff like that. So the mental game did play a massive part of it, probably more than what I was expecting. Um, with my body, closer, probably about that the 18K mark, the body started feeling it. Like I think um, my knees were just starting to get a little bit sore. I think I was getting a bit dehydrated, so my body was just starting to show signs that it was having a bit of enough of the run sort of thing. And then also my left calf started playing up. Well, not playing up, but I could just feel it probably about the 18K mark, just going, hey, we're still here in the
Well,
background sort of thing. So yeah, there
was
was,
that tightness or was it some other?
I don't necessarily think it was tightness. I just think it was just a feeling in the calf. To be fair, it could have been a bit of tightness um, in the calf and stuff like that, but it didn't form into anything or anything like that. And then after the run, the calf was fine. So yeah,
Okay. Keep keep working on that. It's going to be something that you'll need to work on consistently for a long period of time.
yeah.
Um, what part of the race felt the strongest, and what part of the event felt the toughest?
The strongest. What part? The start probably because I ran so too damn quick. Yeah, I'd say the start. The first 4Ks felt real good, real good. Like it was just easy and it was just nice. Um, yeah. Sorry, what was the second part of that question?
What part of the event felt the toughest?
Oh, the toughest. Oh, probably the last kilometer through Homoana was the toughest, and it was just yeah, at the end you can feel you know where the end is. You're close to it, but you're not there yet. So
Yeah.
it's just pushing through and just chipping away and just doing what you got to do to get to the end.
Yep. Was your nutrition and hydration strategy on the day effective?
Nutrition not on the day. Like as I was running along the track and stuff like that, you just see pure gels everywhere, and you're like, well,
Yep.
clearly, and I didn't take any. I didn't take any prior. Didn't have any on me or anything like that. So, and I was like, well, maybe I'm missing a vital step in this puzzle here. If everyone else is consuming them, and I'm just, for a better use of word, just raw dogging it. Yeah, I think that could have been better. Um,
Were the gels available at the aid stations?
no, not the
No.
gels. It was just,
The electrolyte carbohydrate drink.
yeah, just water and electrolytes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So carrying a few gels is going to be advantageous.
Yep.
Um, some people will have 3 or 4 an hour. Some people will only have 1 or 2 an hour. And that's something we can trial in your long runs as we move forward.
Mm-hmm.
With your mental performance, how did you manage your mindset and focus during the event?
Um, I think it was just more, just I needed to get through it because, especially with the environmental conditions, it got real cold at home Moana, and like I was running and I was shivering, and I was like, I can't run any faster because I've got no energy, and so it was more of a I've just got to hurry up and finish this so that I can start recovering.
Yeah.
So it was just pushing my body or just reassuring my body that hey, I can do this. Just keep doing what you got to do.
Okay. Any negative thoughts start creeping in? How did you manage them?
Um, yeah, of course, I just pushed him at the back. Like it was my ride home, so well, you've got to get to the finish point to get home, sort of thing. So, and
Yeah.
I didn't have any space for it because I didn't want to start going down a slippery slope of thinking of negative things. So I was just focused on what I was doing, trying to enjoy the run for what it was and stuff like that. So I was just focused on just get to the finish line and it'll be all over.
Okay. You brought up the enjoyment side of things. So I'm going to phrase this in 2 parts. Did you enjoy the run? And if so, or regardless of whether you enjoyed the run itself, did you enjoy the reward of completing the half marathon?
Interesting questions. Um, I think if I did a bigger build up block period prior, I would have enjoyed the overall combined distance more.
Yep.
Um, for what it is, it's a cool event. I actually really, really, really enjoyed it. Like that much so I'll do next year's because I actually really enjoyed it. Um, like if I take myself out of the whole event, it was a cool event. Just you see so many random walks of life doing it and stuff like that. So it's a real cool event just for the people that are doing it and stuff like that. So it's an awesome event.
Nice. So what went well overall?
Um, to be fair, with the limitations that I had and everything like that, it had over the whole period and stuff like that, I think the whole thing went really well. When you look at the nuts and bolts of it, uh, a substantial 8-week build-up period, with limitations of injuries and stuff like that, I think I did a really, really good effort and achieved what we achieved with
Yeah,
what we thought.
absolutely. And keeping it in perspective like that is key. It's a stepping stone towards future goals.
Yeah.
So, what would you, we've sort of touched on some of this in terms of the training side of things, but what would you change or improve for next time through? So, think about in terms of on race day as opposed to the build up.
Um, Probably the only thing I'd really change on race day is just making sure I um, had those sports gels and all that sort of stuff with me. I think that's the only thing that I could really. Oh, my AirPods failed me right at the start, so that probably put a spanner in the works. Making sure you got whatever gear you're using or taking is fit for purpose on race day is probably the biggest takeaway. Yeah.
When you say they failed you, were they
Oh,
just
they just
flat
stopped
or?
working. I literally put them in my ear just before the start, and they just didn't work. So I was like, here we go. That's gonna
That's
be
no
fun.
good.
Yeah.
And final question, what did you learn about yourself as an athlete?
We can achieve what we want to achieve if we just work hard at it. You know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't.
Just scribbling some notes here. We can achieve what we want to achieve if we work hard.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, congratulations on getting that half marathon. Big tick for success under your belt. And no one can expect the first half marathon or even the second or third half marathons to be the perfect event. Events take time for you to build experience and learn. And the learning environment from one event might not necessarily be the same at the same event next year, or if you do some other half marathons in between.
Yeah.
So that experience comes in different ways. The cold environment from this year might be the complete opposite. You might get a brilliant autumn Hawke's Bay day, or it might even be a warmer than normal, and have the opposite effect next year, or torrential rain, or if you looked at going down and doing Wellington, you might have that block southerly coming through.
Yeah.
So all these different events have different learning outcomes from them. So
Yeah.
the big ones focus on is that pacing, and the one that you want to work on is learn more and have familiarity with those gels, so you can take the advantage of those. Holding that pace back early and staying at that level two rather than pushing that pace initially would have set you up for success a bit further through. But
Mhm.
I think the reality, based on your training build up and the condensed nature of that with the time frame, the run walk strategy was always going to be required, particularly later on. And you
Mhm.
employed that right from the outset in terms of the toilet break and walking through those aid stations. So that was good strategy to use there. So
Yeah.
nice work with that. Any final comments before we wrap this up?
No, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Jake. And if you just stay on the line, we'll chat more about some future goals in a second.
Nearly done.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
I want to tell your friend something.